Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. I think we have a quorum of voting members, so we'll get going. Welcome everybody to the Wednesday, January 14th, 2026 PRTA board meeting. First item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda, and I don't believe we have any changes. Is that correct? So I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Mayor Dixon also moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Holly Williams, second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Before we get further in the agenda, I want to take a minute. We have a new member of the board. I'd like to recognize Mayor of Manitou, Ms. Natalie Johnson. So welcome. We're glad that you're representing Manitou, and thank you for being here, and thank you for your willingness to serve. Excellent.
By the way, you are prettier than John. So
The next item on the agenda is the appointment and reappointment of board members and the selection of officers, and I'll hand it over to Rick to conduct that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want to report that we have received written approval for all board directors who are seated, and the membership has only changed with Manitou Spring. All others that we've received in writing, and our board attorney can confirm, are legally seated. So we're in good shape. And I've been asked to also handle the selection of board officers, and the board officers are the board chair from the county directors, the board vice chair from the city directors, and board secretary. So I will open the floor for nominations for PPRTA board chair for 2026 calendar year.
I
hear a
nominate
motion?
Corey Applegate, County Commissioner for El Paso County. Second.
Okay. Okay, great. Are there any other nominations? Okay, I'll consider the floor closed. So all in favor of Commissioner Applegate being your chair for 2026, please say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Okay, you have a new chair.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for everybody having the confidence in me. So yeah, that's my acceptance speech. So thank you, everybody. And
I've been asked to handle the selection or election for your board vice chair for 2026, and this would have to be from the PPRTA directors from City Colorado Springs. So I'll consider the floor open for nomination.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Brian Risley.
Thank you.
Accept.
Okay, that's a motion, a second for Brian Lindsay to be your vice chair for 2026. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none. The floor is closed. We're ready for a vote. All in favor of Brian being vice chair for 2026, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Okay, you have a vice chair for 2026. And then your third officer is the board secretary, and I've been,
I'd like to
Please.
nominate Rick Sonneman.
thank you.
Second.
Is there a second? Any other nominations for board secretary? Seeing none, all in favor of continuing with me for 2026, say aye.
aye.
All opposed? Thank you very much.
So with that, I'll slide over one, and Corey, if you want to come over and assume the chair.
Well, thank you, everyone, for having the confidence in me to lead this board. And got to meet Mayor Johnson, so thank you for joining us too. I'm elected mayor of Manitou, and I look forward and let's be a good steward of the people's money. So, item 4 is public comment or items not on the agenda. we have anyone here in the audience for public comment? Online? Okay, moving on. 5 is approval of the minutes for December 10th, 2025. Move approval.
Second.
On a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 6, Citizens Advisory Committee reports. Item A is the monthly report.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Welcome and congratulations. And members of the board, Jim Godfrey, Chair of the CAC. Quick rundown of our meeting last week. Get my agenda up. We had City of Colorado Springs submitted 9 contracts, one of them which was an information only, and I'll cover that. We did have some discussion on item number 1, which is on-call A&E services. As some of you may know, a lot of our members of the CAC, our engineers, are involved with A&E firms around town. And so we had 5 members recuse themselves from voting on approving those A&E contracts because some of them work for those companies. So what we did was bifurcate. No, we did not bifurcate it. Did we? No, we did. We bifurcated that from the rest of them so that they could vote and withdraw. So that was a separate vote with those 5 members abstaining. The other contracts were approved. Good discussions on all of them, and the CAC recommends approving the contracts as presented. The one downtown terminal service contract, Gail go over that, but it was an information only. Manitou had 2 things. They had some line item transfers that were cleaning up projects that are basically done and moving those funds into the Hiawatha Gardens Mobility Hub for working on that parking lot. I must say that there were several members of the CAC, to include myself, that was very impressed with Karen and the work and the details and the documentation that was presented to us. It was a great improvement over several months ago, if you remember those discussions. So we appreciate that. The CAC appreciates it very much. And we make a recommendation to approve Manitou's project as requested as well. None of the other member governments had any projects, so we moved on. And I guess I should say we did have elections as well. None of the officers changed, so you're stuck with me for another year. It's my honor and I'm privileged to do this. I enjoy it very much, and so I look forward to 2026. And then I think that was it, except for that, at least on your 7, except for 6A. Any questions for me on the CAC report?
Any questions from anyone? Okay, if not, Jim, the annual report also.
Okay, so in your packet was the annual report to the board. From me is a summary of our activities over the last year. So I'd be glad to answer any questions or concerns you may have about that.
Anyone have anything? Oh, go ahead. Okay. Perfect. Well, seeing nothing under discussion and no questions.
I move to accept items 6A and 6B.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you very much.
Congratulations on your election too. So thanks for running the CAC for another year. Item 7, financial reports.
I can say that Lisa Corey has a family issue, and so she's not here this month to give the financial report.
Should be emailed.
Should we table that or?
It's just information only,
Okay.
so.
Moving on, item 8. Capital maintenance, public transportation contracts. A is City of Colorado Springs.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
thank you, Mr. Chair. Gail, starting with the City of Colorado Springs. The city has 8 contracts will be presenting for approval, plus the 9th one provided for informational purposes. If you've got questions as I go through them, please feel free to ask me. Otherwise, I'll give you another opportunity here at the end. The first contract is for our on-call architectural and engineering services. The city went through an RFP process where we selected 84 firms across 16 service areas to be able to be considered pre-qualified with established rates for us to be able to issue task orders to be able to perform services to the city as needed over the next 5 years. The list of those firms are provided in your packet. The city's second contract is for the project and construction management software. In February of 2022, the city completed the RFP process to get a new software package to be able to assist with project and construction management. We received PPRTA board approval to contract for those services. As part of that, there were 5 option years for the operations or for the maintenance for that software. This is option year 3. The total amount is $110,000, and it is split between city engineering or city's general fund and the city's stormwater enterprise. So of that $110,000, $73,125 goes towards PPRTA. And it is just for 1 year, yes. Go ahead.
That was my question. The language says, for years 3 through 5 of the contract. So I didn't know if it was a multi-year. 73,000 is covering years 3 through 5. Right. So that language is just a little confusing.
I could see where that would be confusing. It is $110,000 per year.
Okay.
And so we would anticipate in 73,125 for the next 2 years as well.
Okay. And this is software that your department uses for all projects, not just PPRTA?
That is correct, and that's why it's split based on the volume of projects, whether they're PPRTA funded or city or stormwater funded.
So 66% of the projects, because that's the numbers that they break out, is PPRTA specific?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Right. The city's third contract is for the Woodman Road Improvement. This is for 2 PPRTA 3 A-list projects. There is a map included in your packet. The primary project is for the Woodman Road improvements. And with that project, we've also put in the US 24 functionality in routing city. So both those were on the PPRTA list. The city went through an RFP process where we received 4 proposals. Basis Partners was determined to be the best provider for those particular services. The total agreement for this first effort, which is really alternatives analysis and some preliminary engineering for both the city and county, and I'll come back and talk a little bit more about that in just a moment, is $2,133,246. The city also was able to go through and obtain federal fundings to be able to deliver this particular project. And this Woodman Road for this project runs from Powers to US 24. And this is where the city's boundary changes roughly at Golden Sage Road. And we've been coordinating with the county, and this is identified as a regionally significant joint project. The city has taken the lead. So through this alternative analysis and this preliminary engineering effort, we're going to be doing that in conjunction with the county. The county did have members on the selection committee and have been involved in reviewing the scope and fee for this initial work. Just kind of a side note, as we get through future phases and future construction packages, you'll see us bifurcate with what stays in the city and what goes into the county based where it is in the jurisdictional boundaries, but we'll continue to work on this through these initial efforts. Josh, anything else in that you would like to add? Okay. The city's fourth contract is for the PPRTA 3 A-list program for the sidewalk infill program. The city went through an RFP process where we had 12 respondents to provide construction services for that work. Even Pricer was selected in the amount of $966,649 to be able to do infill a variety of missing sidewalks in the northeast quadrant of the city of Colorado Springs. City's fifth contract is for a bridge maintenance project that is located at Galley Road and Wooten. There's a map included in your packet for this effort. The city went through an RFP process to get construction management services. We had 7 respondents and Roxall was selected to be able to provide those services. The amount for that contract is $348,276.90. City's sixth contract is for crack sealing services. This is a roadway maintenance services. The city went through an RFP process in 2024 where we selected 2 contractors for contracts. And it is that was a base year contract with 4 one-year options. The city is wanting to exercise a not to exceed amount of $1 million for one of those contractors, and that is for Seal Coat Solutions to provide that service as requested by our operations and maintenance team. City's 7th contract is somewhat similar with the initial RFP going out in 2022, where we had 2 contractors selected for dig out and patch services. This particular contract on the list is for a task order with a not to exceed value of $750,000 to Trax Construction. The city's 8th contract is to issue task orders to 6 contractors. So the city went through an RFP process in 2025. We pre-qualified 13 contractors and given base contracts. This is giving task orders to 6 contractors to be able to provide pre-overlay and on-call concrete services, and the specific locations are listed in your packet. So those are the 8 contracts I'll be asking for approval. The 9th contract is for informational purposes. And if you have additional questions of why it's informational at the end, PPRTA's council will be able to provide additional background, but I want to make sure we're still bringing it to your attention because we're trying to have as much transparency about the contracts that we're letting out for services using PPRTA funds. So the city needed to provide a new customer service center to provide transit services. Chose to do so in the downtown terminal. The city went through an RFP process to get this construction work done. We determined that IS Service or IS West was the best contractor for that work, in the amount of $122,893. So those are the city's 8 contracts for your approval, and available to answer questions.
Any questions from anybody?
I was just going to chime in on the informational item if the board would like. So the explanation of the informational item is typically, as you know, the contracts for capital are 3-party contracts, PPRTA, member jurisdiction, and the contractor. The comprehensive IGA between the PPRTA and City of Colorado Springs carves out these transit capital projects as not being 3-party contracts. Since it's not a 3-party contract, the PPRTA doesn't need to approve the contract. And the comprehensive IGA does state that the scope will be approved by the PPRTA, but the scope and description is actually part of the budget. And so it's already been approved. But because it's in the budget, which is hundreds of pages long, for informational items and transparency, as Mr. DeBent noted, that's why it's being brought as an informational line item. And that also allows staff to check and make sure that it's in line with the budget and the voter approval.
So should our motion be for all of this item, including the information one? Okay. All right, I would move approval of the City of Colorado Springs contracts 1 through 8.
Mayor Dixon, second. Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8B, City of Manitou Springs, capital projects line item transfer.
Hello, my name is Karen Rowe. I'm the City of Manitou Springs PPRTA representative. There are 2 items being requested today. The first is the line item transfer for PPRTA 2. So there were 3 projects listed for the city, and one that has funds remaining but doesn't have any more projects is Manitou Avenue West End pedestrian and drainage improvements. So the city's requesting at this time to transfer $3,000 into the Manitou downtown sidewalk drainage and utilities, which is Creek Walk number 4. There are some minor expenses that can be covered with those funds. And then the remainder of the funds would go to the Manitou Springs Transit Shuttle surface and structure parking, which you'll see in the next request is going under contract for construction.
Any questions? Entertain a motion to approve. Mayor Dixon, I'll move to approve.
Commissioner Williams, second.
That has been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the second request is to approve the contract with Franson Pittman, who is the contractor and is actually approving the amendment to the contract. So this project, the Hiawatha Gardens Mobility Hub, and it's just the parking lot portion, went through a CMGC process where they selected the contractor, and the contractor's been involved during the design process with Davis Partnership. And so they have negotiated construction contract amount, and they're ready to start construction in January with this amendment. And the total contract amount would be $3,159,725. The PPRTA portion would not exceed the $1,719,071. So the rest would be funded by the City of Colorado Springs. So that's what the request is to fund that construction amendment for those amounts.
Sorry, just to clarify, the remainder is covered by the city of Manitou Springs or?
Oh, I'm sorry, Manitou. I saw your guys' reaction.
I did that commitment. I was like.
We were all really
I
happy.
apologize.
This is, you always take from the big guy to give the little one.
I should have said CDOT. That would have been good, but
So-
no, it's Manitou.
We would move approval, then I'd move approval of the $1,719,071, the contract.
Second that if as long as it's not Colorado Springs.
Okay, that's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
I,
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Item 9. Power Springs Transit Services monthly update.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, Line Rail Transit Services Division Manager. In your packet is our transit monthly report. For the January report, we have information as of November. And the ridership information is in there, so I'm not going to read them here. I'm going to jump all the way to the transit highlight section. The first item is a new pilot program that we entered into with the city's housing department, working collaboratively with housing, with OEM and other departments, as well as a lot of community members. So what this new pilot does is it allows during extremely cold, severe weather that was a declared event by the housing department, we will assist transport people experiencing homeless during those weather events and move them to the shelter locations. So this is a more efficient way of working proactively, getting people to where they needed to go instead of trying to find throughout the city at night while the weather is already here. So we did activate this pilot program in this last snowstorm. We activated the program on Friday morning, getting people to the shelter locations throughout Friday and Saturday. Actually, we had a little bit, actually Thursday, Friday, then Saturday. So we were able to transport a total of 90 passengers during this event. 90, yes. As you know, fare revenue is an important funding source for transit operations, and transit does receive many times from different groups for special discounted or free fare, and we are not able to prioritize one group over another. So working with housing made this possible because housing agreed to, in this agreement, they will reimburse transit for transit transportation that lost fare revenue. So it's a great program. And I think Mayor Johnson, welcome, had a question about how much is PPRTA revenue contributing to transit operating. It varies every year, but on average in the last few years, it's about 35% for transit operations. And fare revenue, again, it's up and down, but on average about 10%. So it's very important, and we are very happy to be able to still help transit operations, keeping us whole, and also be part of the solution helping during cold weather event. So I just want to share that.
I just have one question. Are they going primarily to Springs Rescue Mission?
Springs Rescue Mission, Hope COS, West Side Cares.
Okay, thank you.
How does a person, how are they designated? Do they have access, or is there some, I mean, can anybody just say, I need a ride, and you just give them a ride?
In our system.
Okay.
Yes, I'm going to the shelter. Doesn't matter which bus you're boarding, as long as you say you're going to the shelter, because sometimes it does take a couple transfers to get to the destination. Welcome. Drivers of the year, we're very happy to share that we celebrated 2 drivers of the year this year at the PPACG Mobility Coordinating Committee meeting. The 2 drivers, one is a fixed route bus driver, Joshua Demenko, and the other driver is from our ADA paratransit operations, and Patina Damati. She is actually part of the safety committee, working very closely with transit management, a lot of the frontline topics. We participated in the Festival of Lights parade, and we had about maybe 10,000 lights on that bus. So we were very happy to participate and had a great time. And then also we hosted an event at the downtown bus terminal, handing out hot chocolate and candies. And in that picture, you will see Councilmember Gold, not only stopping by the event, she was actually working alongside transit employees, handing out cocos and talking to our passengers. So we had a great time. That wraps up my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the group? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. 9B, City of Colorado Springs change order and property acquisition report.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Gail Student with City of Colorado Springs. This is an informational item. I'm happy to answer questions if you have them.
Does anyone have any questions for? Okay. Long. 9C, Powers North reimbursement update.
Yes, Gail Sturdivant again. As we've been doing periodically, I'm giving you an update on where we are in incurring costs that need to be reimbursed underneath the 4-party reimbursement agreement that exists between the City of Colorado Springs, El Paso County, Copper Ridge Metro District, and the PPRTA. In this particular period, we incurred an additional 49.23. All that right now is being attributed towards PPRTA. I did just want to give you a reminder, since we just completed the 26 budget process, there is a total of 12.15 million planned for 26 in the budget for allocation, as there was in 2025. And to date, we being PPRTA have reimbursed Copper Ridge approximately 9.72 million. So we are working on this as well as far as fulfilling the reimbursement agreement. While I'm talking about powers, one other thing I wanted to let you know is that there is going to be a pre-construction open house on September 28th. I wrote September, but it is January. I literally wrote September. Sorry. Well, I was giving money to Manitou apparently, and I don't remember that either. So, sorry, my apologies. January 28th at 5:30 at Discovery Canyon. It is an open house format, really to inform residents about what's going to be going on with the first round of construction going on Powers Boulevard. So, if you're interested in attending, we'd love to be able to have you. The website is updated with the latest content minus the meeting materials that will be available right as the meeting happens. So that's what I have for Powers. Any questions related to it?
What was the website again?
It's on the city's website under
Okay.
the Powers
All right. thank
project.
you.
All right.
Thank you for that. And 9D, the Colorado Springs South Academy Boulevard reconstruction update.
Yes, Mr. Chair, as you recall, you asked to get periodic updates on the South Academy project. Felt that this was the right time to bring you that periodic update. As we mentioned back in November of 24, we did complete the construction on the north segment, and we rebid the south segment, which runs from Fountain to Milton Proby Parkway. The PPRTA approved that contract in October of, or in the fall of in October of 2025. And we also had a pre-construction open house with residents around that same time period for folks to be able to come and see what was going to be planned for work. Construction is just starting. It's ramping up slowly right now, but it is starting actively, and it'll be going on for the next 30 months. With this construction phasing that they've been prioritizing vehicular moving and access to the businesses at the same time being able to complete that construction work. So it's more about supporting the folks that are out there today versus maybe some of the speed that they could get from construction if they could just, if things were closed and be able to flow through and go there. But it's important to find that right balance to be able to do the project. And we feel like we've worked very hard with the construction contractor to find that best balance. We've also been working with them on establishing 4 primary segments for construction as outlined in the memo. I do want to point out that there is going to be some overlap with in those segments, primarily due to utility work that has to happen, and there is a significant amount of utility work going along with that project. So it's just a high-level overview of what's going on with the project, but I'm happy to answer questions.
What was there a hard start date on that? Because it says here
I
early.
believe it was
early.
whatever the first Monday was in January. I think that was the 5th. This Sunday, oh, sorry, it's Sunday night is the first night of the contract,
Oh, okay.
or first night for them to start their construction window.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You're breaking asphalt then, so good. The other question. Okay. Thank you for that. 9E, El Paso County monthly change order and property acquisition report.
The updates to our property acquisitions in the packet, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from anybody? Nine F, maintenance of efforts report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Rick Sonnenberg. This is simply a reminder, high profile reminder to the board that the maintenance of effort reports are due in the February cycle CAC and board meetings. as required in the establishing IGA. I'll be glad taking questions, but just informational.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, seeing no questions, we'll move on to item 10A, and that is our legislative report.
And I see,
Oh, it's down the line.
I see Dan Jaglan is on.
I'm here,
so-
sorry, my computer was smarter than I was. Thank you, Mr. Chair Board. As you know, today's the first day of session, so we have 119 more to go. We did the pre-session events the last couple of nights. I think really couple of the new things to report from our last meeting. I was talking to several senators just before I got on our call, and many of them said you can cut the tension in the chamber already with a knife, but it's in between each of their own caucuses. I think, actually, I do think that the Senate Republican caucus is probably the most in sync of all the caucuses right now currently. And that's just because of they've been together longer and their leadership has been a little bit more consistent. So that's going to be interesting to see how all of that plays out. We're working currently waiting to hear back from the bill sponsors on the transit equity bill. I have all confidence in the world that the language that our council, Jennifer Ivey, Rick, and the board approved last year will be able to get in that as this current legislator seems to understand the distinction about what we do versus the other transit organizations. So, I think we're off to a good start. Our next report will have a lot more in it. I would expect between now and the next 2 weeks to well over 100 bills should be dropped. And we'll be off and running. Tomorrow is the state of the state, so not a lot's going to happen legislatively other than the Joint Budget Committee is currently working. They're currently working as I speak, and they're just trying to figure out how to come up with an extra $1 billion that they're short right now. I think that's going to be the whole tenor of the session is money, 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 or the lack of money, and kind of go from there and work their way from up. I think a lot of votes. I have to remember this is not only a regular election year in 2026. Many of the current, like the Speaker of the House, the Majority Leader of the House, are termed out. The Majority Leader is going to move over to the Senate. Hopefully, she's running for the Senate. The Speaker doesn't have those plans. So I think the House Democratic Party is going to be worth watching because there are many people jockeying for leadership positions. So their votes and attitudes and well speeches are going to reflect that. So it's going to be a very interesting year. If we like 2025, we're probably going to love 2026 because we're $1 billion in the hole 2 years in a row. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm expecting anywhere from 700 to 800 bills to be dropped between now and the first part of May. And we will track every single one that has to do with transportation, get them over to you so you can make sure they don't affect us in any negative way. And if they do, we will certainly fix them. So that's kind of where we're at right now here at the Colorado Capitol with really about 119 days to go.
Thank you, Dan, for that. I appreciate it. Thanks for the update. Yeah, so 119 days to go. We're one down. So I tell everybody, remind them always, don't be afraid to call your state rep. I'm afraid to talk to them. So
Yeah,
thanks for the
yeah, Mr. Chair, that's certainly true. They want to hear from you. I think that is really good. I mean, the more contact we get with the state reps, the better.
Absolutely. Okay. I know this group and won't hesitate to do that. So thank you, Dan. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Anybody have any questions? Okay. Moving on. Designation of posting places for our meeting notices.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The board bylaws requires posting places for meeting notices to be designated annually at your January meeting. So that's where we are. Past many years, the board has designated the East Bulletin Board and the PPRTA website as the posting places. So requesting a motion to continue those two.
So moved.
Second, Mayor Dixon.
Perfect. Without any other question, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Staff field review report.
Just an information item. Be glad to take any questions.
Is there any questions on the board for Rick? Okay, no worries, moving on. And item 11, agenda topics for our next meeting. Does anybody have anything they'd like to address? Okay. Seeing none. 12, PPRTA member announcements. Anybody have anything for the board? My big thing was I left a business card hopefully on every seat. So if anybody didn't get one, just holler at me. So I wanted y'all to have my contact information. So yeah, and a rubber ducky.
I might just have one. I got to drive under the circle bridges on the way to our jail tour this year. And I was just a little bit disappointed that they already had graffiti on them. I don't know how to stop that. Maybe it wasn't Circle Bridge, maybe I was wrong. But they're so beautiful, and then to have the graffiti immediately start up, so that may have, I can't, I always get a little lost down there, so my trips to the jail might be frequent, but not so frequent that they're usually in the back seat of a car.
Well, I'll take a look at it. I've been down there when I was there. They're preparing the demo, the bridge work, or they were when I was down there, and
So maybe it
with
was
some cleanup. So I don't know that I saw new graffiti, but it doesn't mean it wasn't there.
Yeah, it is just possible. It might be a targeted graffiti spot as always, but just because of its location. But
Yes.
yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right. And with that, we're about done. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Our Dixon also moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor? So we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.